Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I am doing a sip and share, which is a little video series that I do that is basically just me sharing something or talking about something while I sip on something. Very descriptive. Today it's a giant jar of iced tea because it is hot. Very hot. There have been a lot of topics you guys wanted me to touch on. I have wanted to touch on lately, but I thought the most appropriate at this time would be to have a little chat about homeschooling. A couple times a year I talk about homeschooling, I share about homeschooling experiences, what I'm doing, various things in that general topic. I've gotten so many questions and so many requests for information over the past few months because of everything happening in the world about homeschooling. So I thought right now, because it was just announced where I live in Alberta, Canada, that schools would be going back mostly normal in the fall. Now, some people are happy about that and some people are unhappy about that. Regardless, a lot of people are looking for homeschooling resources and homeschooling information. So I thought I would just talk about what we're doing for the following year. Honestly, I've gone back and forth on doing a big comprehensive homeschool vlog, but that's really difficult because everybody's homeschool journey is so different. And if you are just starting out homeschooling, even if you just do it for half a year or a year, yours is going to look so different than mine and the person beside you and the person beside them. It's just not the same for everybody. And it was really, really hard for me to think about what I could even give you guys that would be broad enough and general enough to kind of cover everyone. I don't really think that's possible. So I'm going to start by just sharing what we're going to do next year, or this coming year, I guess it's this year, this fall, what we're using for curriculum, all that sort of thing. So if it resonates with you, or maybe it sounds interesting to you, you can check it out yourself. Maybe you want to go the route we are going, maybe you don't, but maybe you can at least rule something out for you. Basically is start with where you are, start with what you know kind of video, to just kind of launch off the homeschool videos for the year, because as the summer progresses and we edge into fall, I usually start talking about homeschooling a lot more. Just a quick little introduction for those of you who are new or just visiting my channel for the first time. I know my homeschool videos usually bring in a lot of new people. So hello, my name is Rainbow, yes for real, and I am a mom of two, and I've been homeschooling both my kids, who are 9.5 and 6, forever. We've not ever done the public school route. We've only ever homeschooled. My husband and I decided to homeschool our oldest when she was about 2. We decided to kind of start going down that route, and we haven't really looked back. So we've been homeschooling since the beginning, and we are about to go into 4th grade and 1st grade. So it's pretty exciting stuff. I've been on YouTube for about 6.5 years or so, and I cover all sorts of things. I vlog, I do sit down chats like this. My husband and I do sit down videos together sometimes, go on adventures, we do all sorts of things. So if this interests you, or you want to stick around and see more of the homeschooling videos even that are coming up over the next few months, then definitely subscribe. And if not, just hello briefly. Like I said earlier, I'm just going to talk about what we're doing this year and kind of start these videos off this way, just cover what we're doing, what my plan is. A lot of you want to know what we're doing usually. So if you guys have questions or have video requests about homeschooling, definitely drop them below and I will do my best to either incorporate them or maybe create another video around that. As long as it's not just a request that's like, tell me everything about homeschooling, because I don't know everything about homeschooling, and like I said, it's so different for everybody. So I'm hoping to give you videos that are helpful but also come from a place that I'm really familiar with and comfortable giving out information. So yeah, if you have anything you want to know about our homeschooling or about our experience or about what we're using for this or that, whatever, drop it below and I will try my best to answer it or put it in a future video. Alrighty, so this year, Mackenzie, that's my daughter, and Grayson, that's my son, are going into 4th and 1st grade. So Mackenzie will be in 4th grade and Grayson will be in 1st grade. So we are like really full on homeschooling both kids now this coming year. Now, I should say when the pandemic started, we stopped doing school in March. We just stopped for the year. It was a lot. Homeschooling gives you the flexibility where you can do things like that, maybe depending on how you plan your year. So we just kind of took a break and took a step back and just started summer early, really. It wasn't the initial plan, but it turned out to be what happened. And now we've started to do some summer schooling, just a little bit of touch-up work so that we don't go in the fall and they don't know anything or they don't remember anything, because I don't know about how your kids learn or how you guys do your homeschooling, but I find that sometimes after a big break, my kids kind of take a little while to get back into the swing of things and to remember the information they might have kind of just lost over the summer. So we're doing some summer schooling just to keep that a little bit more fresh. But there's also another reason. I'm trying to find the way I want to word this, but one of my kids needs a little bit of extra help with their learning. I don't want to give away too much information for the sake of that child and their privacy going forward into the future of whatever they choose. I don't want that to follow them around. But yeah, we need to touch up on some skills and kind of go over some old stuff, just because that child is going to need a little bit of extra help throughout the years going forward, and especially in this next year. So that's just kind of the reason we've done summer school. Okay, but enough yammering. What we are doing this year is I am actually going with curriculum. In previous years, I've never done full curriculum before. I've always created my own. However, I run my own business and I balance a lot, and I just don't think I can handle creating my curriculum and also juggling everything else that I juggle. I just think that I would definitely drop some balls, and I don't want to do that, especially now that we're going into, like, my daughter is in 4th grade now, or about to go in, like I said, and it's just, we're starting to get into more important years, and I just don't want to let anything slip through the cracks. I don't want to be so busy that I just don't do a good enough job on a subject or something. So I decided to go with curriculum that wasn't going to be super hard for me. I also really just needed something that I could line up with the rest of my schedule. It's really important to me to balance everything, so I get enough family time, so I spend time with my kids, so I can work, so I can homeschool them, so I can do all of these things that I want to do without having anybody feel neglected or anybody be neglected or anything be neglected. It's a juggling act, and curriculum was just the only way for me to maintain everything that I wanted to continue doing. So that's what we're going with this year. So what curriculum is that, you might ask? We have decided to go with Blossom and Root. I have been looking at Blossom and Root curriculum for a couple of years. A little bit of background maybe, we're Waldorf inspired, and I really do like that about Blossom and Root curriculum, but we're not full Waldorf at all. Like, we're very, like, inspired. That's how Waldorf we are. But anyway, I really love Blossom and Root. I took a lot of inspiration from Blossom and Root and used some of their stuff last year, but I didn't do the full curriculum last year. But because of how busy we were going to be, especially with moving in the spring, and we were supposed to move this spring or last spring, with everything just going on in our lives, I just needed something. And Blossom and Root offers a really great curriculum that is really low planning every week. Like, it doesn't take a lot to plan it, and I just really like what they offer. I'm going to talk about all the things I like about Blossom and Root. Oh my goodness, that's going to be a tongue twister, and why I chose them in a little bit, but I just want to kind of go back and say, yes, we're using Blossom and Root for a curriculum, but Blossom and Root does not contain math or history, both of which I wouldn't be able to include anyway in a lot of curriculums. A lot of curriculums are American, we are Canadian, and a lot of times with math and history, it varies on where you live, even within your own country. So those are something I would want to add in anyway. So to be very clear, we're using Blossom and Root full bundle curriculum for 4th grade and 1st grade. And we are adding our own math. So I'm just doing Canadian curriculum math because I haven't found a math program I love. If you have suggestions for Canadian math that you really, really love, that's not crazy expensive, along with like already buying curriculum, I don't want to have to spend more and more on curriculum that I might ditch halfway through the year, you know? So I'm just doing Canadian curriculum math and history. We're still deciding. I've kind of got an idea of what we're going to do and how we're going to start. My husband is a huge history buff, so he's probably going to take over a lot of history stuff. I feel like I can do our own history for this year without having to add a full-on curriculum, but next year I'll probably look into a Canadian history curriculum. Really hard to find good Canadian history curriculums, for real. Really is. I don't know why. Hopefully you guys can still see me. I just had to put a pillow under my butt and sit on my butt to try and raise me up. I was sitting on my knees, and every time I do a video on my knees, my feet go numb halfway through and I am in pain. And I regret it. Why don't I learn my lesson? I don't know. Okay, so Blossom and Root full bundle curriculum, plus math, plus history. And we are also adding in handwriting. So for handwriting, we're just starting handwriting. I haven't really touched on it in previous years yet, so we're just starting with really basics. I'm getting a couple of books from Amazon to start with, just going over the alphabet for handwriting and a little bit of basics. And I also got Mackenzie, my oldest, the 4th grader, a joke book that's handwriting. Because when we're just starting, I just want it to kind of be practice, lots of practice. Well, I don't know, handwriting is something I feel like I can teach really easily on my own. The joke book just for fun. I want to always try and incorporate something interesting. My daughter is super into jokes right now. She writes down her own jokes. She tells everybody jokes. She likes reading joke books. It's the year of the jokes. So I thought that would be really enjoyable for her. And then, also speaking of Amazon, I also picked up 2 like math adventures. Let me know if you want those linked. They're not very big. They're just like little booklets, but they're like math adventures, and I picked up one for each of them. So there's like one for 1st and 2nd combined grade, and one for 4th grade. And I'm just gonna add those in as fun little like pages to do now and then. And I don't know, I guess it's like a storyline. We'll see how they are. I haven't tried them. I don't even have them yet. We'll see. So that's the basics of what we're doing this year as far as curriculum goes. Again, I'm going to be doing more videos where I'll actually kind of take you through a little bit of the curriculum maybe and show you what I've got, maybe do a curriculum haul. The books we're reading for the first chunk of the year. I've divided my books up. I'm only getting half my books right now for the first half of the year, and I'll get half my books later, just because our homeschooling is funded, so I want to try and keep my receipts organized. So I'm trying to only get like half of the books we need so that I can put them in our resource claim, and then at the end of December I will get the rest of our books that we need for the second half of the year so I can put it in that resource claim, and it just makes things neater on my end. That's why I just wanted to explain why I was doing it that way and only getting half and half. So I'll show you our first homeschool book haul and what we order, maybe talk about what we might supplement from the library, and then I'll definitely update you throughout the year and tell you how it's going and how we're liking Blossom and Root, and if I end up supplementing any more, stuff like that. But yeah, I think a little bit of a homeschool book haul would be fun, because maybe you guys have a kid my kid's age and you want to see what we're reading for the year. I don't know. I always like seeing those, so maybe you would too. Okay, but let's get into why I eventually chose Blossom and Root out of all of the insane amount of curriculum that is out there. It is so overwhelming. So if you are watching this and feel really overwhelmed right now because you've not homeschooled before, or you weren't expecting to homeschool, and you feel just crazy overwhelmed by the options, don't worry. I think every single homeschooler in the history of homeschooling has felt that way at first. It is an overwhelming process. As you find your style, as you kind of just start to try different things, you kind of find a groove and you relax a little bit, and you learn that it really is just choice and pick and choose, and it's not as overwhelming as it first appears to be. So the first thing I really liked about Blossom and Root curriculum is that it's nature-based. My kids really, really connect with nature-based learning in general. We've always been nature-based since the dawn of time. That just really works for our family. My daughter is dead set passionate on being a wildlife conservationist when she gets older, and not even until she gets that's just what she wants to do. She's super passionate about it. She's always learning about animals and nature. We get out into nature and do fun stuff whenever we can as a family. So nature-based homeschooling was like an immediate appeal, and probably why I looked at it in the first place, and how I found it was I was looking for nature-based homeschools or homeschooling resources, or things like that in general, and that was a big appeal to me, was that it was definitely nature-based. Maybe that's a confusing term, nature-based. It just means that there is a nature study built into it, which I really like. A lot of the science, while very thorough and covers a lot of other topics, it's definitely focused or has a lot of emphasis around nature and tries to draw that whenever it can. And you kind of see that like vined through the whole curriculum, and I really enjoy that. So maybe that's for you, maybe it's not, but that's one of the reasons we chose it. Another reason I really like Blossom and Root is because, by the way, I should say I am not sponsored by Blossom and Root. They're not giving me anything. I feel like I forget to say that sometimes, but I'm literally just picked this and I paid for it in full myself. And this is just my reasoning for picking this curriculum, because we've never gone with a full curriculum before. So anyway, another reason I really liked it was because it's open for add-ons. It leaves space for adding and supplementing if that's something you want to do. Now, I consider myself a more laid-back homeschooler. We did unschooling a little bit, and then we've kind of just like tried a lot of different homeschooling styles and methods along the way. For us, we learned that it's really important to have structure in our family and to continue with some structure, otherwise our personal homeschool just falls apart and the kids don't learn what they should be learning if we don't have some structure. So but we're, on the other hand, we're not like crazy structured, where, not that it's crazy, but I'm just saying we're not so structured that we have like a lot of different add-ons. So this curriculum is perfect for us, but I do like that there is the option and there's room to add on things. Like we're adding on cursive writing, and that's not a requirement, but that's something we're going to add on. And we also add on piano and other music stuff, and like we add things through the curriculum as well. And I do really like that there's room for that. Some curriculums are really tight in the way that they're so full that it really doesn't feel like there's any room left or any time left once you've finished it, if you're following it really closely, for anything else that you might want to add in. So that's not how Blossom and Root is. There's room for add-ons, and I really enjoy that. So another huge pull for Blossom and Root, if not the main thing that made me look into it, was that it is a secular curriculum. So you'll hear that a lot in the homeschool community: secular or not secular, blah, blah, blah. If you're unfamiliar with the term secular, it just means non-religious. So a lot of curriculums, well, a fair amount of curriculums are religious, or they have religious add-ons or like religion sprinkled in. Secular curriculums are completely non-religious. They have zero religion in them. You can of course add on your own religious teachings if you choose, but the curriculums themselves, when they are secular, are not religious. So Blossom and Root is one of these secular non-religious curriculums, and that was a very big pull for us, because we did not want something that already had religion in it. We wanted something secular, so that was a really big deal for us, and I really love that about Blossom and Root. Another thing was that it is Waldorf inspired, and you can kind of see Waldorf sprinkled in it, but it's not Waldorf at all. Waldorf can be really intense. Sorry, Waldorfers, if there's any purists in here, you already don't like me. So Waldorf purists, it's a thing. But Waldorf inspired it's like the nature-based, the nature inspiration. It's very visually appealing. Lots of like lively literature. It's usually the Waldorf way, lots of storytelling. And you can kind of see bits of that sprinkled in. Usually because we're Waldorf-ish, I will also kind of follow a Waldorf seasonal guide, and I will use that throughout my year, kind of hugging around my curriculum. And if you want to know more about that, then I can make another video on it if you'd like. So just let me know if you want to know about the specific seasonal guide I use. It's free, and I can share with you guys the PDF for that. It's for like younger years, but I find I'm able to apply it to the rest of the years so far. So I definitely like that it's Waldorf inspired. I did try Waldorf curriculum last year. I tried 2 kinds of different Waldorf curriculum, and I came like head to head with a couple of things. Both times it didn't work, and I ended up dropping it. Pure Waldorf is not for me. There's just, I have problems with it. So not saying there is problems with it, or, you know, do I even have to say that? No, I don't. You guys are cool. So it just wasn't for me. I found a lot of problems with like pure Waldorf, and even some of like not pure Waldorf curriculums. It doesn't work for our family and the things we want to teach and our values and blah blah blah, you know. So I like that it's like a little sprinkle of Waldorf and Blossom and Root, but that's it. So I can add more if I want, or I can just not at all. Another thing I really like about it is that it has really great science. Blossom and Root has a lovely science curriculum. We used Blossom and Root science last year. Absolutely loved the Animal Kingdom unit in the 3rd grade. It was great. And Grayson kind of like tagged on with that with Mackenzie's, and I kind of combined them. But I'm really happy with the science curriculum, and I love again that it's open-ended. So if we wanted to add in more, because my kids devour science, especially my daughter, anything that she can like take and spin into wildlife conservation, or we can like go in a direction of like animals or conservation, or like just that general stuff, she's all over. And I love that I can add on top of what is already provided in the curriculum. So I'm really happy with their everything I've heard and seen and used from their science curriculum. I also really love their nature study. I love nature study. Not everybody does nature study. I think it's a really peaceful time. A lot of families will do it like once a week. I just find it peaceful and relaxing, and again, nature-based, which is right up our alley. And I like that Blossom and Root's nature study is interesting and engaging without being way over the top or like you have to be a watercolorist to be able to keep up with that nature journal or nature study. So I do like that it includes a nature study, and I just like the style of Blossom and Root's approach. And last but not least, and maybe not even last, this is all I could think of on the top of my head, off the top of my head, not on the top of my head, was that it is simple and organized as a curriculum whole. I love that it is for busy parents. I love that it's not requiring 30 minutes to an hour of like night before prep to be able to do the school day. It's 30 minutes a week, which is so doable. Just do it on the weekend, ready for the next week. Of course, that's generally speaking, if you're adding on, it might take you a little bit longer, but I just like that they've designed it for busy parents, for parents with more than just homeschooling on the go. And it's just the simplicity of it makes it so much easier and straightforward. And I really appreciate that about Blossom and Root, and that definitely swayed me to choose them this year. Anyway, I've been talking at you guys for a long time. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was insightful or helpful, or even if it just made you go, oh, that's not the curriculum for me, I can rule one out. Or maybe you've never heard of it and now you're gonna go look up Blossom and Root. I'm going to leave some links in the description below, so definitely look at that. I'll leave them like under my little spiel about what the video is about, to Blossom and Root. And if you want to see anything else that I mentioned in this video, shoot me a comment and I'll link it in your reply. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you want to see as far as homeschool videos go in the next few weeks or coming months or going into the year. I would love to be of help to anybody who needs to have, or who wants information, or is really curious, or just starting out homeschooling, or is feeling overwhelmed. So if that is you, definitely drop a comment and let me know what is the most important thing for you to learn or know about right now, and if I can help you, I totally will. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, you guys. Until next time, we'll see you when we see you.